Have you ever gone to hear someone speak and you were just distracted by everyone around you, all the comments, all the oohing and ahhing, all the the constant whispering, all of that? Lynette and I went to go see Gregg Braden on Saturday, and Lynette, my daughter, if you're new to this channel. And so this isn't about Gregg Braden. This is about attention and our ability to focus. And there's a little bit more. We were sitting in the front row, literally in the VIP, paid extra for that. And next to Lynette, there was a woman. It was actually a group of four, but there was a woman who was sitting right next to her that, wow, that treated Lynette like she was her best friend. And she kept nudging her and bumping into her and laughing and knocking her. And anytime that something was funny or like, "Ooh, did you get that?" And anyway, Lynette was, poor Lynette. She's an introvert. All of her planets are we're exactly opposite in our I'm kind of going off track here, but if you know anything about astrology, all her planets are under the horizon. Mine are all over. So anyway, I said, well, we could trade seats, but then there was somebody next to me that she didn't want to be behind, or she just would prefer. So anyway, it was really hard for her to stay present. So that her stability moment, what she did was she really tried to focus, and she would share with me what was happening. Of course, I laughed and I couldn't stop giggling with things. Anyways, but here's something that I realized, that peace isn't always when a room is quiet or when you're in the environment where everything is quiet. Like for right now, like that motorcycle that just buzzed by the backyard. But sometimes peace comes because we are able to focus and put our attention on something again and again and again, which is exactly what happened to Lynette. She had to return to Gregg, return. Like it was from 9 in the morning till 5:30, because there was also a medical emergency in the middle of it. So that was Lynette's microstability. It wasn't not telling the lady next to her, "Hey, knock it off." Not leaving, but literally just coming back over and over to the workshop, to Gregg, and then return. Then another distraction, somebody knocks her. And not even just that, a lady behind us started, she did that for like, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes off and on. And even in a breathing exercise, when she would exhale, we actually did the vagal breath. I was amazed, because usually when Gregg Braden does a breath, he goes for the count of 4 in, count of 4 out. That's been my experience. But he actually did 4 in and 6 out. I was like, yeah. Anyway, but on this lady behind us, umming away, oming away, she would om on her exhale. So anyway, there was all kinds of stuff happening. And here's the thing. So every single time that Lynette went back to Gregg to focus, like the distraction, focus, that strengthens that state of the internal operator. That's practice. So we always talk about the stability spiral here, because that's how you stop a spiral and from, there's Charlie. Uh-oh. Anyway, can you see what Charlie's doing back there in the flower bed? Anyway, that's stopping the spiral. The stability spiral is when you are aware and you pause and you have like that 200 milliseconds. Just the brain gives you a second, or the 200 milliseconds to stop this, to disrupt, like you literally, by just saying, oh, that's a stability moment, which Lynette had many, many, many opportunities to practice with her mommy next to her, doing her very bestest not to laugh. In between my the irritations as well. I had to return too. But I found it actually kind of funny. So, so we know that your attention is going to wander. It always does. There's so many distractions. But what's going to pull you back? Like, how gently can you bring that focus on whatever it is you're trying to do? How can you bring that back to you? Because what I teach is I guess probably the best, it's not I guess, but there's many pieces of moving parts, but probably the most importante is that you bring you come back to self, like you have access to self rather than being stressed and spiraling out in the programmed reactor of the stability spiral, which is all a free download, a PDF that's always in the description. And that those are states: the programmed reactor and the internal operator. And the internal operator is the one that there's the pause, there's the awareness, there's the breaking up of the just the reaction of your programs that are running, programs that don't really serve you. I've got to let my kitty in the door. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm still talking to you. Okay, come on, Charlie. Come on, you good boy tap. Come on, good boy tap. Sorry about that. I'm coming back to the camera. Okay, so so anyway, that's truly, this is how you can, with that stability spiral, how you can take control, that the two states, and move into the state of the internal operator. You can choose to not have the adrenaline and the cortisol. Imagine if Lynette had just got angrier and angrier and more frustrated and more impatient and like all of those things. And as an introvert, we came home and she went to bed. We also had a little issue with Charlie, or with one of the dogs, but she just couldn't. She had no more capacity, even though she had done microstabilities. At that point, she had no more capacity for anything else, and her microstability was more like a macro stability. Like, I'm putting on my PJs, I'm just like decompressing. So that's what you do. Like, that's you just, this is how you make things happen for yourself to interrupt the spiral, because she still got a lot out of it all the way to the very end. Got a lot, enjoyed it, and so that's a big win, a personal win, right? So anyway, so the whole thing, the stability moment, that's real life, that's real stability, and that's how you do it. It's not about solving the problem. It never is about stopping a challenge or a problem or fixing it or any of that kind of stuff. It's like, how quickly can you come back? That, and how can you stay in the state of the internal operator so that you're not spiraling down, you're spiraling up, and choosing to be in the state of the internal operator, where you create a microstability or stack the microstabilities, as Lynette did, going back to Gregg and telling me to kind of get it off her chest, and me laughing, like that helped her to laugh a little bit. So microstabilities, so she stacked them, and then that gave her capacity to keep going through until 5:30, and then the breaks and things, that helped her a lot. And so then you have the choice. Like, now you have capacity to have clarity, so now you have choice to make a good decision. Do I get the heck out right now? Do I, all of that, like, instead of the adrenaline and the cortisol flooding through her body and the frustration and all of that, she kept it as even. And then when we left, it was like, I'm home, I'm leaving, like, I'm done. So anyway, that's the story. Like, this is a really good way. This is what Lynette and I have learned together after Steve passed, like, just feeling off. And so here's the thing: stability does not just happen when it's peaceful. And we know that, because what's the one thing you can count on? Change, period. If you're a human being and you have a brain to see what's going on, and a nervous system and all of that, there's going to be change, and it will trigger you. And so how are you going to deal with it? And that is exactly what I teach with that stability spiral. And the basis of that is coming home to self, literally coming back, the access to self. Because when you are in survival mode, forget it. You've got adrenaline and cortisol flooding, all those chemicals flooding through your body, forget it. You're going to be off, and you're going to be angry, and you're going to be frustrated and impatient, and whatever the programs are that are running. Upset, crying, grief, like all kinds of stuff could happen. And whatever it is, I probably should not have said grief in there, but even as I mentioned, like I think it was maybe two videos ago, was, you know, having that intense grief with Steve, and I decided I wanted to be in the state of the internal operator and not spiral down. So I chose to move myself into a place that worked for me. Does not mean that you don't feel the feelings, because you do not want to trap those issues in the tissues. You want to move through those, feel the emotions, move through them. But out of control emotions, different thing. Flooded in survival mode, different thing, different point. This is coming back to self with access. So I hope you enjoyed this stability moment. That's real life. That's real stability. I love that. It's kind of fun. So anyway, you can do, be, change, have, create, become absolutely anything. I believe in you. You can do this. As always, shining my light to brighten yours. And we will see you for day 97 tomorrow. Ciao.